Hello, I'm Becca. I'm sure all of us have experienced a bad boss, or at least know somebody who has experienced a bad boss in their life. Here is an example of what I've personally experienced. I've had a few bad bosses, not as people, but as superiors. For these bosses, being a leader was not one of their strong points. The biggest issue to me was communication. Every day, you'd come into work not knowing what was going on. The lack of communication was so bad that no one knew what was happening day to day. Playing favorites was another quality that bothered me about these bosses. If you were someone who didn't suck up, you were treated not very well, and it felt like you weren't treated with as much respect as others. It was just best to lay low and do your job like you were supposed to. Along with communication, listening and giving credit to others who came up with an idea is also another thing that I had experienced with my bosses. If it was your idea, the boss would kind of shrug it off and act like they didn't hear you or like it didn't mean anything to them. And then a little while later, like a couple days, a week, it could be even a month later, they would rephrase your idea and take the credit on their own, which to me wasn't very fair. Listening was always a problem, as I said. Sometimes you would say something and the boss would forget what you said, or forget what you said, if you know what I mean. I know it's not easy being a boss, but working on the following qualities that I'm going to discuss can make you a better leader and a better boss. Let others lead. In my experience, I've seen this. Bosses are too afraid to let others do tasks. In other words, don't be afraid to delegate some of your tasks to the others and recognize them for the hard work they did. There's nothing wrong with having others do tasks and giving them credit. Being a boss doesn't mean you have to do it all. It just means you have to help your employees along the way and let them accomplish the tasks in their own way, not necessarily your way. Communication, communication, communication. This is the main thing that you will always need to do. There may be things that might not need to be shared with some employees or all of the employees, but by scheduling a meeting and talking with your employees and listening to them, you can achieve more as a company. And your employees won't be able to do what you want them to do unless you communicate exactly what you're looking for and how you want them to do something. Being trustworthy is another quality that will make you stand out among other bosses. When someone trusts you and confides in you, don't go blabbing to everyone what this person just told you. First, I feel it's unethical, and being the boss, some people may come to you with issues and are trusting you and confiding in you with these, and you need to maintain confidentiality with those issues. Leading by example will always help your team. If you expect your employees to behave or accomplish certain tasks a certain way, you will need to lead them and show them that you are doing the same thing. Being flexible. Things change on a day-to-day basis in business, and you need to be able to handle whatever the day may bring. Do not fly off the handle when someone or something goes wrong. Maybe behind a closed door you can vent or when you get home, but letting your employees see your frustration and how you're reacting only makes them react frustrated and it snowballs into a big frustrating ordeal, which is not good in the working environment. These are just a few things that will set you apart from other bosses. You may not be a perfect boss, but by having good communication skills, you will be well on your way to becoming a better, more efficient boss.